images represent what he felt when he was a kid, that things he wanted were impossible or very difficult to come by. Again, he was little. He didn't have the capacity to understand what it meant. He was a kid. He was dependent on adults to provide for him. So that belief stayed with him, and he forgot that he had that belief all the way into his adult life. When he realized that, his eyes got yay big. And he was able to clear out that one little forgotten belief he had from his childhood that turned into the voice in the back of his head saying, life is hard. What you want is impossible to come by. If you want it, you have to work really hard, and you may still not get it. Okay? So we all have examples like that. Okay? So I just want to share that to let you know how much impact that kind of automatic, forgotten programming can do for us. Okay? I can say a lot more, but you get the idea. So having said that, why do we need an inner critic? Why do we need these messages that most of which we don't even remember day in and day out, ruining our lives? What purpose does it serve, right? Well, again, to make it really simple, it really boils down to one thing and one thing only. Our inner critic's mission, its purpose for being here, is to keep us safe. Okay? We, as a human species, has evolved in terms of society leaps and bounds ahead of our ancestors in the hunting and gathering days. Okay, when everything had to be fought for and when physical safety was a daily thing to pay attention to. But physiologically, in terms of our bodies, we have not evolved nearly as much to keep pace with our needs in modern life. So we're not in danger every day, but our brain is still wired to scan for things that may threaten our safety. So if we are not conscious, if we're not aware, we're daily in survival mode because that's how our body is wired to live, okay? And so because of that, there's a part of our brain, I would say in the back of our head, that is responsible for what I'm sure you've heard of, the fight or flight response. Yeah? When you're faced with a new situation that makes you scared, that may potentially threaten your safety, your body instinctively is going to prepare to fight or to run. Okay? Now let me put this all together for you. Remember, our inner critic has the sophistication of a 5-year-old. Okay? And we have this inherent negativity bias to scan for something that may threaten us. So if you are about to make a big business breakthrough or set a stretch goal for yourself, a part of you wants to do that, what do you think your inner critic is going to do? It's new, it's potentially threatening. It's going to run. It's like, no, we're not going there, right? But again, most of the time we're not aware of that happening. Okay? So again, the purpose of our inner critic is to keep us safe. And just to fill in the details there, the negativity bias that we have in our brain has it that a positive experience needs to be 5 times as powerful as a negative experience for it to be memorable for us. Because positive experiences are not connected to survival. It's pleasant, right? That's it. But a negative experience could potentially threaten our survival. That's why it's memorable. So unless we go off and get married every day or have a birth every day, our lives automatically, unless we shed some light on it, is going to have that negativity bias. Our inner critic is going to be alive and well for as long as we live, okay? So that's the bad news. I don't want to bum you out completely. So let me go on to what we can do to manage this inner critic. Because by now there's plenty of neuroscience research that shows we can actually rewire our brain to counterbalance this negativity bias. We can do that. And that's through conscious practice. And I want to offer you 5 different tactics today on how to do that. And so there's something for everyone. If one tip doesn't resonate with you, move on to the next one, okay? So before I say anything else, I do want to emphasize that do not try to monitor your thoughts. You go crazy. It's not possible and it's not necessary, okay? Just pick your critical moments to practice these tactics, and you will be able to manage inner critic fairly well. So my first tactic for you is whenever you start hearing that voice telling you, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, or someone's not going to like me if I do that, or whatever those messages may be, try to bring your awareness to the fact that your inner critic has kicked in again. And what you want to do at that moment is to stop that automatic negative talk that you have in your head and ask, why not? Who's talking? Is this really true? So when my inner critic tells me I'm an idiot, I would say, am I really that much of an idiot? I don't think so. Oftentimes, just by virtue of you're interrupting that negative automatic talk, you're already out of that mode for that moment. So again, if you pick your moments when you're about to do something that scares you and you do that, you interrupt your negative thinking at a critical moment, and that's useful. Okay? Now, if you're talking about some really deeply ingrained negative belief that you've had that's keeping you from taking your business to the next level, or a goal that you've had that you have been avoiding for a long, long time, it's actually worth your while to take the time and to create a space to answer those questions that I just raised. Who's talking? Because you'll be surprised at what the answer may be. It could be an adult that you had, a critical adult you had in your childhood. Why not be your own devil's advocate? You, again, be surprised at the wisdom you'll be coming up with. And is it really true? There's hardly ever anything that's 100% true. It's just we talk ourselves into believing so. Okay? So that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2, I have to credit Tony Robbins for that. Everybody here knows Tony Robbins? Personal development powerhouse. So I think one of his greatest contributions to this line of thinking, to this field, is the connection between our physiology, our physical state, and our mental and psychological state. Okay? Oftentimes when you feel stressed out or you're bogged down by something that you're doing, just by getting up and moving around, you shift your energy and you shift the way you're thinking. I mean, I was just observing at the beginning of this gathering just now that Abby had a hard time getting people back to the seats because it feels good to move around, right? So what I would suggest to you as tactic number 2 is develop your own power move, okay? I'm holding a microphone here so I can't really demonstrate really well. My power move is I slap my hands together and yell, yes. And that instantly shifts me from whatever I can't do mode into yes, I can. To give you another example, someone that I know used to be in sales, and she would be scared every time she had to go into a big sales meeting. And even in an elevator, as she's getting ready to go into a sales meeting, she would go, yes! I don't know if you can see what I did in the back of the room. So I invite you to have fun finding your own power move. In those critical moments, again, when you're about to go into a sales call or give a presentation and you're so gravely afraid of speaking, actually public speaking is the biggest fear that people have, even ahead of death. Really, research shows that. So in those critical moments when you're about to do something that really stretches your comfort and really scares you, and your inner critic is about to jump up and say, no, we're not going to go there. That's a good time to do your power move. Try it at home. You'll see how powerful it is. Just that little change in physical state will shift where your consciousness is. Okay? Tactic number 3. This is going to sound very counterintuitive, and I promise you I'm not smoking anything. This particular tactic is very useful when you are totally in the grip